we're going to be talking about why war and why, this fake war is so easy to trade in or it's so easy to make gains in. It's just going to be even better once we're actually out of all of this, okay? I believe there's a massive euphoric rally that is loading on the other side of this. But now, you got to stay in the game. You got to be getting these small hits. You got to be looking at, you got to get in the IWMs. You got to get into the Babas that we cooked up. You got to get into the Teslas. Build it up, because what's on the other side of this is just easy peasy work. Now, will the dip come first? Will the dip come first? Okay, let's check. Will the dip come first? We're going to look at a few stocks. Before we look at any individual stocks, we have to look at the Qs. I believe the Qs is dropping after hours, but really, I don't really like paying too much attention to after hours or really even pre-market as much, because the real business is handled, during market hours, okay? But I mean, we can look at small things. And if you just look at the daily on the Qs, I mean, look at this price action. And some people think this is very hard price action. Some people are not making money at all. So give yourself a little pat on the back if you've been making money in this chop, because a lot of people have actually been blowing up. They've been blowing up. I don't know how, but they've been blowing up, because really all we've been doing is going up, back down, up, back down, up, back down, up. We should go back down. Okay, we should go back down. I'm going to be paying attention to that coming into tomorrow and the rest of the week. We should be coming back down. At least until we can get a weekly close above 615, or a weekly close below 593. Then the gates can open up to a big move to the downside, right? Or a big move to the upside, right? But make no mistake, I actually hope we get that move to the downside, just because I know we have a huge move that is loading to the upside. Okay, now will we get that move to the downside? We'll have don't pay too much attention to that just yet. Okay, let's focus on what we have right now, which is us sitting in huge consolidation. Okay, this is where all the money is made. Okay, this is where all the money is made. This is where we're able to catch some easy plays on IWM or Alibaba or Tesla or Iron, and this is all taking place this week and like last week. Okay, just easy stuff that is happening with a higher win percentage, because the market is giving you easy peasy stuff. It's giving you easy peasy stuff. Okay, so I don't want to focus too much on that. And this is probably why this live won't be too long today, anyways, because we have the war going on, the Iran stuff. We have oil going up. We have all like those factors. We also have FOMC, I believe, in the next couple of weeks. So there's a few things that are gonna, I believe, take this either to, we either get a huge move, to the upside or to the downside. But one of these moves is gonna take place, I believe, here very soon. Now, what I'm paying attention to is this hidden weekly divergence that has been forming. Okay, so we might not get a move to the downside. I'm not gonna say for certain, but I'm definitely paying attention to this hidden weekly bull divergence that is playing out, where we're actually making higher lows. Or we're making high lows, but the RSI is making lower lows consistently. Okay, so I'm paying attention to that. But anyways, let's look at some of the individual stocks heading into tomorrow. Put in the comments what stocks you guys want to look at, and we'll look at them. Okay, we'll look at some stocks. I believe that's where opportunity lies, anyways. My boy want to look at CRM. Let's look at CRM, and then we'll look at Nvidia. For CRM, we had a level on this at 200. Okay, they couldn't get above 200. Matter of fact, it's just been sitting there, not closing above there the entire time, and actually giving you garbage price action in the meantime as well. So I'm a fan of this coming down to 184. Coming down to 184. If it coming down to 184, right inside of here, I would say is a no man's land, to where I wouldn't be looking to necessarily buy any dips, because it's not giving that great of a dip. Like, it's not even giving that great of volatility. Like, it's really just sitting here, consolidating a bit. But if it can finally, break and give you that 184 dip, that'd be good. Or if it can finally break above 200, because then you have a move to 212. Okay, so nothing's really happening for CRM. In the bigger picture, they do have great fundamentals, etc. But there's nothing that I'm seeing on here that gets me excited. All right, there's nothing that I'm seeing on here that gets me excited. Okay, so I'm just gonna move on. I don't want to waste too much time tonight. Okay, I don't want to waste too much time tonight. I want to look at some plays. If we don't see anything, move on, etc. Um, for Nvidia, this thing has been in the nastiest consolidation period with the rest of the broader market. Okay, so if I'm looking at Nvidia, where it just came to today actually, and even yesterday a little bit, it's actually at that rejection level, which is 180.87. So this is I would call this a victim area. Okay, we're gonna put a little V. We're gonna put a victim. This is the victim area. Okay, if you're getting in right here, you're a victim. Okay, meaning you didn't buy the dip. Okay, you didn't buy the dip when this was 175. Okay, now you're chasing it, trying to get calls right here, but this is the rejection area to where it needs a close above here. So really, it's probably play around here for a little bit, or you need a massive volume candle. You know, you need a lot to happen right there, and that's why you're getting that rejection that you're seeing right here. Okay, so this is in no man's land, or not no man's land, but rejection land. This is a victim land. Okay, so you want to close above 187 before you think about going long. Now, if you want to, if you want to short it back to 179, you know that probably be good. But I wouldn't, So if I was looking along this at all, I'd be looking for it at 180, or if you can get a massive volume candle above 187. Okay, right here is just nasty work. Unless you're trying to catch puts right here, which puts would have been incredible right here, and all you had to do was draw an easy little Fibonacci, and you could have caught that put move. Okay, so I like it above 187. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Like I like it above 187. I think it can come down to 180. I want to look at Tesla, USAR, MU puts. I definitely want to look at MU because MU, like their stocks right now, and this is what I'm saying. Like I hope we get a downwards type of movement because it'll make it so much easier. Like this chop has been incredibly easy because you get that downwards movement and then it brings volatility back into the market and then you get that upside movement. It like it's quick money. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not chopping you around. It's very quick. Right, a lot of quick stuff is happening in the market, and that's what I like. It's like as long as there's some volatility, okay. As for Tesla, the main thing to pay attention to for Tesla is that it continues to make these lower highs, okay. So for Tesla, if you look at it, this entire downtrend that you see is lower high after lower high after lower high after lower high after lower high. So in order for Tesla to start making some noise, it really needs to make a new trend, and not it needs above 417 because then you get a new trend to where it's not making these lower highs anymore. Matter of fact, it's making a new type of trend. So that's what I'd be paying attention to for it. But also what you have to realize is that this stock is going to go up. Okay, like I said, the entirety of the market is very, very, very bullish. I believe we have a euphorium that is coming. But in the meantime, you're like if you weren't buying the dip at 383, and even yesterday, like or 28 or Monday, where it had an incredible day, and like you could have bought, like so it's given some great movements, but you know, I would like it at 394. Okay, I'd like it if it goes to 394, or even if it starts breaking back above 408. Okay, depending on what the market is doing, but inside of here, I'm just not interested. No man's land inside of here, so I'd be looking for some bounces. All right, I'd be looking for some bounces. So those are the levels I'm looking at. I like it above 408, I really do. But I like that dip at 395 as well when the sentiment can get a nice little shift, okay? But I do believe in the bigger picture, and that's why some of these dips are just easy to buy sometimes because you know that the market is going to continue to march higher. But also, this was a rejection level for it, okay? So let me show you guys something really quick. Like if you just draw this top peak that you get right here to the bottom wick that it had right here with swing high to swing low, all you had to do was draw that little wick right there. You could have easily caught a nice short from 416, right? So now it needs to break above 416 to start marching to the 420s, 425. All right. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking at. I like 408, but I definitely like that 394 level to bounce from. That's what I'm paying attention to for. All right. Anyways, move on. Do you think Tesla's gonna go up tomorrow? That's such a vague question because we have to see how the pre-market is going. We have to see a lot of this stuff is looking at how the market is shifting, like while it's happening. Okay, so it's kind of hard for me to tell you if it's going up tomorrow. Like it's easier for me to tell you if it's going up in the next couple weeks to months. than if it's going up tomorrow, because tomorrow I would have to, I gotta see some stuff. I gotta see what the market is. I have to, see how price actions move. I gotta see the sentiment. I gotta see what people are thinking, etc. Um, before I could say if it's gonna go up, that day. Let's look at Microsoft. Let's look at Microsoft. Okay, now Microsoft is very interesting because a lot of eyes are on it. Okay, just psychological wise, a lot of eyes on it. But in the bigger picture, and this is why I believe the entirety of the market is bullish, and this is what I want to focus on for something like Microsoft. I don't want to focus on what's happening in the shorter term, because the shorter term is gauged to fake you out. So if you want to be bullish on something like Microsoft, you definitely want to wait for a dip instead of trying to get it right now. Just based on this is making lower highs. So I actually think this can slip and slide pretty low here until you can break back above 408. 408, that'll tell you it's ready to start marching to the 420s, okay? So 408, you need it above 408 if you want to be bullish, but this is a bear structure anyways. This thing is making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and it looks like it can actually slide down to, let me see, like we can look at some levels really quick, like maybe 398, back to the 398s, okay? Maybe even, next level, 393, right? So that's what I'd be looking at for Microsoft. If I wanted to get calls, I'd either be waiting for the slip and slide to finish, which it does look like it will, to 398. I look and see what it does at 398, but 394 is the level that I definitely would want, or maybe even back down here. Okay, I think a lot of people are trying to get this dip right here, and they're right if they're buying time. But what can happen in the shorter term is this, playing around with people who are trying to get like the March 20th, or the people who can't hold on to something for more than a month. So because when we zoom out for something like Microsoft, you can clearly tell like this thing is ready to reverse hard. It's just a matter of when. It's just a matter of when, because this thing is now hitting bull diverging on a monthly time frame. Okay. And that next big swing to the upside, you better get out. That's the last one, okay? That's the last one before you get a real correction. But I believe this does have a very nice move to the upside. It looks exactly like how Meta did. Some of you guys remember, back on this huge dip that it had to at 580, and then it went all the way to 740, 750. Okay, so bigger picture for something like Microsoft, I believe it's extremely bullish, just because I believe the entirety of the markets are extremely bullish, just based on some of the things I'm seeing. But this thing could easily whipsaw back down to 393, 398, and then have that next leg to the upside, where it finally goes above 413, etc. Okay, but I mean, even if you look, let me show you something. Like, even if you look at where this was going to reject, I mean, come on, it's clear as day, like where it was going to end up, where it needed to have some very consistent close above, like even a weekly close above this week. Because this is a rejection level. It's going to be a very hard level, because it's going to take you back to 423, it's going to take you to the very high levels if you can finally start closing above 408. Okay, so 408, very important level. But Microsoft, bigger picture, very bullish. Can it slide down to 398 like we talked about? Yeah. Can it slide back down to 393 like we talked about? Yeah. Okay, those are the levels that I'd be looking at to go long on. I like it though. I just be looking for, like, if I wanted to be bullish on something like if I wanted to be bullish on something like Microsoft, I'd get like some December calls or something. My boy Gucci is in here. He said MSTR is looking for a big run. I absolutely agree. Bitcoin has been very, very strong, and the market that we're currently in right now is going to favor some of these higher risk assets. Okay, they're going to favor them, as in Bitcoin, as in Ethereum, and that's just what happens. In we've been very early on it, to where that's what happens in these markets that are topping out, that are kind of coming into a dwindle. You get a lot of capital rotation into higher risk things, Bitcoins. And even if you look at like what's been happening, like even if you just open your eyes for a little bit, where has money been rotating into? Donald Trump has been paying his boys gold. He paid out them gold boys. He paid out the people who like gold. He paid out the Nasdaq people. He's paying out the Dow Jones people. He's now paying out the oil people. Okay, who do you think is next? What asset is next? He's gonna pay out the crypto people. Okay, he's gonna pay out some crypto people. He just is. He just is. Okay. So look, that's gonna end up happening, and we're gonna be talking about like we've been so consistent on here. We've been so correct, so just on top of all this stuff to where it's just funny. Okay, so we're gonna be on here, and I definitely believe MSTR is definitely due for a very large move. Inside Discord, we call it BMNR. BMNR, I believe, on Monday. BMNR is the Ethereum version for MSTR, but yes, I'm actively paying attention to all of these crypto type of plays because I do believe that is the next sector that's up. And if you look at what's been actually happening, like Bitcoin has been holding very strong, compared to a lot of other things. Okay, and even if you look at some of these charts, like these charts are incredible. Like look at this, man. Look at this. Now, could one final little sweep right here to get people max bearish happen? Sure. Okay. But I believe MSTR is definitely due for a nice leg. I believe Bitcoin's due for a nice leg. And by the time a lot of people realize it, and that's why I think this war is good for bulls. Because by the time people realize that, oh, we're going up. Oh, shoot, we're going up. It's going to be late for a lot of people. They're going to be waiting for the war to be done. Bitcoin's already at, marching to the upside. A lot of money's already being made. And then, they're going to pile on top of it, right? Anyways, move on. Put in the comments the stocks you guys want to look at. And it's kind of already happening. Like, it's kind of already happening. Like, we've been max bearish, what? February. Coinbase has been marching to the upside, but we're in war. So by the time, the war is done, of course, this is going to get a massive boost. The people that are in are already in. And, the market rewards forward thinkers, not the people who are, trying to get in when the market is, good or whatever it may be, right? But anyways, let's look at some different stocks. Let's look at AMD. Let's look at AMD. And yeah, I mean, it's not really doing much. It's in a rejection area. This is the reject. Like if you just drop from the swing high to swing low, where it keeps rejecting at is right here. So once it can get above 206, you're gonna get that massive leg to the upside. So that's the main thing I'd be paying attention to if I wanted to be bullish. And in the meantime, I'd be looking for a nice dip if it ever comes down and gives you a nice dip. Maybe to 196, right? Maybe the next big war news that we have, where they bomb some. I don't know what happens, man. I don't know what's gonna happen, but maybe that next big bearish move, that is where you should load up. But until it can get above 206, it's not gonna catch any momentum, etc. Okay, so and it's just a I don't know why I was gonna say it's just a nappy chart. It's just a nappy chart. I don't like it. Is that just the fib retrace? Yeah, it's just the fib retrace tool. Very easy tool. TA is the easiest thing. Your TA should be the easy part, okay? The harder part is the psychology of the market, and understanding sentiments and understanding the research macro levels of things, okay? This part is easy, man. This part is very easy. SoFi. A lot of you guys want to look at SoFi. Let's look at SoFi. I like SoFi, by the way. I like the bank. But I believe I looked at SoFi not too long ago, and I think SoFi is due for a very massive leg. We've been so spot on something like SoFi for so long, to where this should be the most trusted TA that you should ever look at, because we were begging. We looked at this when it was $9, $7, and we told you every single time that this is going to retest IPO price and go to 44. I believe 44 is the final target for something like SoFi, right? We knew it was going to get back to the 30s. Now it's actually giving an amazing retest, and this is what I mean. By the time people realize the markets are going to march much, much higher, a lot of people are going to be too late because they're bearish at the lows. Or they're bearish, when they should be bullish, right? So when you're looking at something like SoFi, this is where you'd be looking to either buy equity, which would be the safer option, or you'd be maybe looking to get some leaps on it, okay? The reason being is because this is massively weakly hidden diverging, okay? The last time we saw something like this was the last low we called. When this was going down $9, and I think it was the tariff news. Yeah, it was the tariff stuff that I was having. This was going down to $9, okay? And we said, oh, this is weekly hidden bull divergence. A lot of people were scared. We said this is gonna get to 30 plus IPO price. Went there, okay? So now, I can't. Why would I go against my TA that was successful the previous time? There's no way. Nothing has really changed, right? I think the market's still bullish. And now it's actually even hidden monthly diverging. Even more bullishness is happening for some odd reason, right? So I think this is where you go long. Somebody told us to look at this like a while ago as well, like, I don't know, like a couple weeks ago. And I said 1682, like that's the level. Okay, so I think I'm not gonna say SoFi has bottomed. I think a lot of I don't like, it's hard to time bottoms, etc. And that's why I like looking at further out contracts for just good dip buy areas, especially when we have hidden weekly divergences that we've seen play out time and time again. So I'm very bullish on SoFi. I think this is the final target to me is the $44. I think SoFi is gonna do very, very good in these next coming months. Okay, even Robinhood, okay, and this is what I mean. Like a lot of people, man. Like I said, there's people who are forward lookers, and there's people who wait for the news to come out. Okay, has the market bottomed? A lot of people don't think so. A lot of people think another leg to the downside is going, maybe even a huge leg. Okay, and I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen. Okay, but some of these charts, they're like, why would it happen? Why would it happen? Like we're already in. Like we're already in. Why are we? Like a lot of people aren't in. We're already in. A lot of people think we're going to the downside. Meanwhile, we're already. So I don't know. Definitely something to be paying attention to. Anyways, you still teaching this hot dog water? It's funny. I remember you said the market was so bearish like a while ago. So bearish a while ago. And I ended up being correct, man. You gotta give me my kudos, man. You gotta come in here and show some respect. Let's do Netflix. I'm in Hood May call. I think Hood is absolutely incredible. The same thing that we saw back when this was $30, back when this was $30, is the same thing we're seeing now, but even at a lower level. The price target on Robinhood I have is to 200. I think it's going to do absolutely incredible. NBIS. Check my story for proof. What proof? Thoughts on Mara and CLSK. Let's do Netflix. This thing is already gone. It's already gone. If you didn't catch this right here, to me there's like, this is just nasty price action to where it's just been chopping for a very, very, very long time. It's just been chopping for a very, very long time. I'm not interested in something like this. Yeah, I think it needs to hollow. It needs to relax a little bit. It needs to do something else besides like I'd wait. Me personally, I'd wait. There's nothing that I'm seeing, so I'm not gonna force it. But anyways, I don't want to hold you guys up for too long tonight. Like I said, the market is still digesting a lot of things. Okay, it's still digesting a lot of things, and also we're still in this massive chopping area. Okay, so the trading should be very, very simple. Okay, it should be very, very simple. It goes up, it goes back down. It goes up, it goes back down. It's up right. It was up today. Now it looks like it could go back down. Okay, so we don't want to overcomplicate it until we get some level to some closes above 615 or close below 593. But this is the easiest time. This is the easiest time to make some money because it's so volatile and it's predictable. Okay, we know it's gonna reject right here. It's been rejected for the past months. We know it's going to bounce here. It's been bouncing for the past months. Okay, so until we get confirmation from either the downside or the upside, should be very simple. But everything is linked in the bio. We are absolutely cooking. Okay, we let the results speak for themselves. We let the results speak for themselves day after day after day. Day after day after day. Okay, we just do. We just do, man. Alibaba. Alibaba, just easy stuff, man. Just easy stuff. IWM. But anyways, appreciate you guys all for tuning into the live show. We will be live again on Sunday. We'll be live again on Sunday. We'll be talking about some more great things. Okay? But in the meantime, don't over leverage, don't over risk. Stay firm, because on the other side of this is what you really want to be around for. Okay? This chop right now is hard for a lot of people. I know a lot of people that are messing up right now, losing their account, yada, 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 man. I know a lot of people. Okay? So if you're winning, like I said, pat yourself on the back. Okay? Stay firm. Because on the other side of this is something that's absolutely incredible. Something that's a lot easier. A lot easier. Okay? But anyways, I'll talk to you guys later, man. And I'm out. Peace.